Hey, what's going on YouTube? Joe here from Metafish. Hey, let me flip the camera around here. I'll show you what we're doing tonight. So this is going to be the first time I've ever fed Antarctic krill, I believe it's the Antarctic strain, to my fish. So I just unthawed a block of frozen food into this container, and I think it's pretty much unthawed now. So this is how I feel. You can see how dirty this water is. You don't want all that oil, gunk going into your aquariums. So here's what I do. And I don't have my net. Oh, here it is. So I take a fine mesh net. I don't know how good this is going to work because I've never done it before. I've done it with full-size brine shrimp. Don't let me forget to stop draining that. I'm draining my brine shrimp. I'm going to feed the babies too. So that's all I do to drain the brine shrimp. I just stick the end of the hose, turn off the air, let it settle, and then open up both valves and stick the end into a brine shrimp net, which is over a bucket. And yeah, it just drains all the brine shrimp in, and all that's left is very little eggs and mostly all live baby brine shrimp. Alright, so we got about 5 minutes with that. So, of course this isn't going to be easy. Let's grab another pitcher. These pitchers are indispensable, very useful. So right there, what I was doing with that pitcher is that's dechlorinated water, and I was using it to fill these little animal cracker and cheese ball containers. They're like a gallon and a half, and I had all these little teeny tiny baby guppies, and I was moving tanks, so I figured I didn't want the parents to eat them. Why not raise a whole batch of baby guppies? So these are reds, these are blue-red metallics. So I'm already off to a long start here, like usual. So I'm just gonna, I already just added cold water. I didn't add hot water. I didn't want to cook the krill. We'll see if I can do this one-handed or not. It might be a total disaster. But yeah, I'm just gonna drain it into here, and then I'm gonna rinse the krill. So I don't even know what this stuff's gonna look like. I'm sure my fish are gonna enjoy it. Alright, so far so good. All the water's draining. And I get to the juicy, this is about 4/10 of a pound of krill. That's pretty big stuff. Quite a bit in the bottom still here too. So that'll probably be really good for my big cichlids. I probably don't have to rinse it too much more than that. Let's turn the cold water on and just give her a rinse. Yeah, this is pretty close to a ½ pound. So they're going to get a big feeding today. Hopefully it'll get some of the Calvis, some of the Lake Tanganyika spawning. So that actually looks pretty clean to me. Pretty good food. We'll see if they like it. And I'll just get a little more water here. Swish it around. Dump that in. Alright, so we're close on the brine shrimp here. I just took a look over. And this is helping to rinse it too, actually. So yeah, you don't want to be dumping all that gunky water into your aquariums. Look how gross that is. So whenever you're doing frozen food, whether it's adult brine shrimp, usually I do adult brine shrimp. This is the first time I've done krill. So fish are eating better than me tonight. Alright, so this is close. And once it gets down to this point, it goes really fast because it's not as much water. The bottle starts necking down. So yeah, I might as well show you how I harvest my brine shrimp here. And you can move this light out of the way that I have it set up. It's on a movable arm, but it doesn't really matter. And then I kind of just pay attention. As long as you catch it before it hits the net and you turn off one of these valves, I always go for the bottom one, you'll be good to go. And then you can clean it out when you add the next round of fresh water. You can just clean the hose out back into the bucket. So it's getting real close here. We'll wait for the eggs to come. Never done this one-handed. There it is. So there we go. stop the eggs before they got into the net. And that's basically all you have to do. There's probably a little bit of brine shrimp, but mostly eggs in the bottom here. But looks pretty good to me. And then this is my favorite container. Just get lots of different glass containers and stuff. This one's short. It's easy to clean and get the brine shrimp out of. So basically all I do, I don't know if I'll be able to do this one-handed. Sometimes I'll just let this drain even more. It'll drain all the last droplets out of there. I don't think the salt hurts the fish at all. Salt is healthy for fish. So sometimes what I'll do is I will just stop the brine shrimp hatchery. I'll let them settle. I'll take a turkey baster and I'll just get brine shrimp from the bottom here, and that's salt water, and I don't rinse those brine shrimp. I just start putting them directly into tanks, and if they get a little bit of salt water added, no big deal. It's good for them, in my opinion. Never had a problem. And I lose not very many fish. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm trying to flip it over one-handed. And this one's already been taken out of once, so this isn't the normal amount of brine shrimp you would get from a full 2-liter bottle. And my mix ratio, so I use solar salt. I do about 1.75 liters of water, close to a 2-liter bottle of water. You know, about up to here. And this is the top of the 2-liter bottle, you can imagine. So about 1.75 liters of water. I do 3 tablespoons of solar salt. That's 1 tablespoon. And then I do just a tiny pinch of baking soda. I just keep it over here. Something like that. And that's for my water. If your water is less hard, if you have softer water, you'll need more baking soda. And then this is a half teaspoon. And I do 3 half teaspoons of brine shrimp eggs. Now I know I could do more brine shrimp eggs, but I like having 4 setups, and then I can harvest these after 24 hours, and they'll be small brine shrimp. I can harvest them after 48 hours, they'll be bigger brine shrimp. And I can even harvest them at 60 hours, and the brine shrimp are still mostly alive, and the water is not tainted. You haven't crashed your brine shrimp that way. So if you go with less amount of brine shrimp, they're going to pollute the water less. So kind of my suggestion is, this has been working really good for me, is have more hatcheries than you really need. I could get by with just 2 probably if I added more brine shrimp eggs to the batches, but you don't need to. You can give yourself some wiggle room so you don't crash the batch, and if you get to it in 24 hours, great. If you get to it in 48 hours, that's perfect. That's like the ideal time, in my opinion. And I don't have any heat for them. It's about 73 degrees down here, but I do have a light source. And when the light source is not on, if I accidentally leave it down here or something, they still grow just fine. I haven't had any ill effects. So I shut off all the lights in this room. This is the only light source. But give yourself some wiggle room, and then if you forget and it's been 60 hours, you didn't just waste the whole hatch. You can still feed it out, and they're going to be alive. It's not going to be smelly water. So that's my tip, is use less brine shrimp than you can. I mean, you can go more, but you're just going to have to be on your game more, and you have less wiggle room. So anyways, I tip this over, and then what I do is I just take a turkey baster, and I know this water is clean. This is one of my breeding angelfish that I'm raising up for future breeders. There's only about a dozen fish in this 10-gallon tank. And then I just clean off the sides with this fresh water, and it's dechlorinated. They get quite a few water changes here, so I know this is good water, and I'm not worried about mixing this water in for biosecurity for my other fish. And yeah, I just clean the sides with a few squirts, and then I take the net. It's always got a little bit of residue on it. Usually it's more eggs than it is brine shrimp, and this is the tank I always give the leftovers. They always get the leftovers. So that's more residue than I usually leave on, because I was doing that one-handed. But these black bar enders, they'll eat all that up. So they do amazing for me. There's tons of babies up top, and it's probably because they get brine shrimp suckums 3 times a day. But yeah, I just clean it off that way, and then I'll rinse it in hot water and I'll hang it back up. And I'll unhook this 2-liter bottle right here at the end of this hose, and I'll wash it out, take a bottle brush to it, refill it with cold chlorinated water just straight from the city. And I go cold. Don't go hot or else you can kill your brine shrimp eggs. You can't really go too cold, so I always go pure cold water when I fill this thing. Then I add my salt, baking soda, and I let it sit till the salt's dissolved. You only have to let it sit about 15 minutes. The water can be ice cold, and then you add your brine shrimp eggs up top because you're refrigerating those eggs anyways, so they're going to warm up as the water temperature warms up. So that's how I do it. Super simple. But yeah, look how nasty this water is. That's all just scum that I cleaned, that came off of the krill. So alright, let's what do we feed first? Lots of good food for the fishes today. Let's try the krill. I'm kind of excited for that. So how I'm going to try to do it here, I'm going to get a fresh, probably about 1/8 of a pitcher of cold water here, because I like to use a turkey baster. It's probably going to be messy with this phone. So yeah, that's probably too much actually. And yeah, fresh clean water. Let's put the krill back in. And I'm sure there'll be some stuck to the net here. There, that's a healthy meal of krill right here. So I got a story with this barrel. You can tell the barrel's not in place. I almost started a fire yesterday. I was messing around doing a water change on this barrel. There's actually about 30 venustus here. I wonder if I can turn the... No, I can't turn a light on. But there's a bunch of venustus in here, so I was doing a water clean on them and sucking the bottom of the barrel, cleaning the detritus and stuff. And I accidentally knocked off this hose on the bottom of this bottle because I was just messing around. I didn't pay attention. The entire bottle drained down, and it drained all over my electrical cord, which now isn't there. But the outlet for that electrical cord was sitting right underneath it. And salt water and electricity do not mix. So I noticed it, and I picked the cord up kind of like this, and as I did, where that cord was connected to the extension cord, it started smoking. So I tried to unplug it. It gave me quite the jolt. And yeah, hopefully I didn't do any damage. I replaced the electrical cord. It's a brand new extension cord. Because it was smoking, I didn't trust it anymore. And just a huge mess. Just brine shrimp and salt in the carpet. I had to move this barrel out of here and clean it. That's why the fan's here. But if you ever make a mistake like that, my suggestion is clean it as soon as possible and dry it as soon as possible, because there's nothing smellier than dead brine shrimp. And I had a full batch just dumped right on the floor. So it was not one of my prouder moments. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm gonna have to open, and they're hungry. So guys, what do you think of krill? I think they like it. These are my sunshine bangas. So yeah, that wasn't too dirty of a food. I see some krill particles floating in the water, but it looks like they're trying to clean up all the little particles too. And these are pretty big fish. These are 3 to 4 inch fish. And that was probably the messiest one, because that was everything that was stuck to the net and on the net. So I'm hoping it's not as messy once I start using the turkey baster and this water. So I'm going to try to hold this in the crook of my arm while I record with the same arm, and then use a turkey baster with the other arm. And we'll just go tank to tank here. These guys aren't real big. We'll see if they can eat a little krill or if this is too big for them. So I don't know. I'll just shoot this down in there. Well, they're definitely trying. They will. They'll get it. And then all the babies, they'll get the baby brine shrimp. Now this might be too big for these guys. These are Antinubis toweri. These are the blue-tailed Gadiad. I'm going to say all the fish are definitely interested in it. I didn't get very many in there. I wasn't really expecting to feed this. Alright, nothing too exciting with those guys. They'll get some baby brine shrimp too. And these are my hybrid yellow blaze lithobaits. He's hungry. They're just starting to color up. And there's also hippo point salmon in here. Very easy to tell apart. Completely different body shapes. So that didn't last long. I'll give him one more squirt here. I feel like some fish aren't getting any, but I have a lot of krill here, so. Now this tank will be the real test. These guys, they're not going to come out to eat. These guys are so skittish. We'll see, maybe. They do like food. They don't like cameras. It's amazing how fish even know that you have a camera. Now these are white Labidochromis and Pundamilla macrocephala. Huh? They are darting out to get their food. And these white labs are super cool. You know, they're one of my favorites. They're super shiny. They got quite the iridescence to them. But I think I'm down to 1 or 2 females, so I haven't been able to breed too many of them. I think I only have 7 juveniles growing up. There's one of the females there, I believe. Alright, back to the old armpit method. I'm not going to feed my mixed guppy tank krill. Look at the size of this guppy though. She's the biggest one I've ever bred. She's got to be a 4-inch guppy. And it looks like she's so big she's having a hard time staying buoyant. She always kind of swims sideways. But she's just ginormous. So I'm not going to feed the guppy and plant tank, but I'll feed, if I can do it. You guys would laugh if you see me trying to feed these guys. So that's definitely some big food. This is more for your larger cichlids. We'll get to more big cichlids here soon. I mean, I have no doubt they're going to eat the stuff. And there won't be any waste. But some of the smaller fish might not get any. So, yeah, we got lots more fish over here to feed. I don't know why I skipped all these guys. We can feed all of these guys. Hungry angelfish. And these angelfish are a little bit bigger. I'm just putting the lid up right there. These are actually almost twice the size of the ones we were just seeing, so let's see how this goes. I'm going to need another scoop pretty quick here. This stuff's so big it almost doesn't suck into the turkey baster very good. Kind of clogs the turkey baster. Here, we'll give them some. And these are Lake Tanganyika species. These are Neolamprologus cygnus. I also have them available on the website. Super nice Burchardi type cichlid. Unfortunately, the juveniles look better than the adults. These guys are already ready to breed. So this is a female down here. And like that's a male, big male right there. So unfortunately, the adults really aren't colorful. This is definitely some big food for these guys, though. They're getting a meal. I hope I don't regret this. I don't think they're going to have any issues. They all got mouthfuls of krill, though. I think that'll be good for them. I'm not going to feed these guys. These are Mabuna. And I know krill is better than, let's say, bloodworms for these guys. But I'm not going to risk it. I got lots of good herbivore food for them. Now that I see the size of this krill, I mean, look at this. That's some chunky stuff for a turkey baster. I'm still going to try to feed these guys. These are... Well, there are a few Mabuna in here, but they're young, and I don't worry as much. Yeah, not everybody's going to get fed off this. I'm going to have to come back around and feed a different food. We'll do one more squirt in here. And Lake Victorians, they can definitely handle the higher protein. That's a big squirt. So these are Fire Ugandas. There's a few nice males in here, and Pseudotropheus interruptus, I believe. Those are the yellowfish, the Mabunas. But I haven't had any issues with them getting bloat, and I fed them pretty high proteins before. So, all right, let's see if these medium. These are my medium blue dolphins. My apologies for the camera. I can only do two things at once. Here we go. So I have no doubt the blue dolphins are going to scarf up the krill. They're fighting over it down here. Alright, let's give them one more scoop. And they just inhale it. So I took down my last hang on the back filter. So now I am running 0 hang on the back filters, which makes me happy. That thing, the power turned off and the impeller kind of got buggered up. I'm not a big fan of electric filters. Hang on the backs, I mean, they all work. Canister filters, I don't even like canister filters because I've had leaks with them. And it's not all the time, it's just once in a while when you're busy and you're tired and you don't want to deal with something like that. You want to be working on another project or having time to watch your fish. Come on, girl. She don't like the camera. This is a Dibidochromis Malawi eyebiter. She's usually a great eater. I spoil her with her own tank here. She's a 6-inch fish. So these guys ate pretty good. Let's give them a few more. Whatever's left here. Ooh. First time I've seen these guys almost full. Wow. She's just waiting. She's gonna eat the food as soon as we walk away. She doesn't leave anything in the bottom of the tank. And this is probably my favorite angelfish tank. And there's also Geophagus steindachnerii in here. So I just lifted up the canopy there. Let's give these guys a big scoop. Come on, guys. Huh. They're not in love with it. Or maybe they all just already have mouthfuls. I think it's a little harder for them to choke this stuff down. The geos are eating it. And again, this is the very first time they've had this, so they're probably a little bit hesitant. Once you feed a fish a food for, 2 or 3 times, then they're ready for it. Then they know exactly how good it is, what it is. Very first time you ever feed a food, they are always, my fish are always a little skittish about it. So I don't know what kind of action we're going to get out of these guys. They don't like cameras either, so these are the Super VC10s. Come on, guys. She's going to get all the food, and then this little one swoops in. The 2 little ones. Don't be so skittish. It's just a camera. I don't ever get very good footage of these guys. I have 3 females and a male in here. And the male, he's pretty passive. He's hiding right now. Where is he? he went and hid under this rock because he does not like the camera. But yeah, I'll give him a little bit more. I want to get him nice and fat. Give me some more babies. And there's some of their babies right there. So I'm not going to feed the Tropheus krill, but I'll feed these guys krill. These are deepwater haps and Geophagus brasiliensis, the pearl cichlid. This is big food though, which is perfect for this size fish. But if you're dealing with 2-inch juveniles, I don't think it's ideal. So I will post in the comments exactly what this food is so that you know. I believe it's the Antarctic krill. I think the Pacific krill is even bigger. Look at the size of some of this stuff. It's like quite literal shrimps. Those geos ate it right up. Alright, so these are, I don't know, 2 to 4 inch Taiwan reefs up here. I think they're going to be fine with it. Trying to do 2 things at once here. Alright, I'm going to have to put you guys up here for a second and then adjust and feed them a little bit. Apologize for the glare. But yeah, they didn't have any problems with that. But the glare kind of stinks on these tanks. So let's feed these geos. These are my biggest Geophagus redhead tapajos. I'm just going to squirt the tank real fast. And we'll see what they do. And, oh yeah, there's red tail, super red swordtails in here also. So yeah, that's quite a bit of krill. But they'll eat it all up. Looks like they already have half of it done before any of it even hit the bottom. But they are substrate cleaners anyway, so anything that gets in the sand, they're gonna clean up. Looks like they're all chewing. Oh, that's pretty cool. Every single one of them's chewing it up. They definitely all got a good meal there. And I'm sorry I can't really zoom in. I got one sticky hand from this krill, kind of dripping krill juices on myself. And alright, let's try to feed these little guys. I know the glare kind of sucks. We'll give them a few. At least the Lulupai should come up and get some of it. No, it looks like all the multicolors and the Cyprichromis is getting some. Oh, the female Cyprichromis is up there getting it. Not good for her. I hope she gets fattened up. Gives me some babies. I'll give them some more. There's the Lulupai. I picked a couple pieces off the bottom. Yeah, he's not usually skittish, but he doesn't like the camera. He's usually the first one to get a bite. Alright. Well, I think we've used up close to half the amount here. Let's try these guys. These are the Spilontaneous Tanzanias. They usually hate when I have the camera out. But, oh, they're actually going to come out. They must be hungry. Boy, they were quick. Back to hiding. Let's try one more time with them. They're pretty big fish. They're 4 to 5 inches. They're good breeders for me. And they're really beautiful fish. The males are absolutely gorgeous. And you don't see them all that often. I don't want to just drop that lid. There they are. But they got a nice black background and they like to hide in the back there like that. And there's the male. Super skittish. Oh my god, it's a camera. It must be a gun or something. I could feed these guys a little bit. There's 2 Lulupais in here. And then there's just guppies for ditherfish. So apologize, I gotta hold the lid up while I do this. Lupais are out though. Probably fed too much there, but it'll be alright. They were out. Oh yeah, and then there's a Geophagus in there too. Oh, there's 3 Lulupais in there. That's right. I still got this egg-bound one. I feel bad for her. I was really hoping she'd lay her eggs, but I think she's egg-bound. She's been egg bound for the last 6 months, I would say. I have not had a successful spawn of the lupis yet. But that's kind of what I'm hoping for, is I feed this krill, and I bought 7 pounds of it so I can feed this, you know, once a week-ish. These angels are a little small, but we'll see. I'll feed them pellets as well, because I'm not going to be able to feed them enough krill here. I have some more big fish to feed krill to still, but probably won't be able to see much. They're just going to totally cover it up. Let me move this lid, then I'll be able to keep the camera on them. They're definitely gonna try to chew them down. So some of them will probably get real big from getting their krill meals, and others will probably stay skinny. Yeah, that's good for them. Pleco is not going to give them any krill. So these are the blue golds, the Spilontaneous Tanzanias as juveniles. They're getting close to 2 inches now. They're going to be a little small for this, but they're going to try, I'm sure. Look at that pig. Somebody's going to realize you have one. Where'd he go? And I'm going to feed him a little bit more, and then I got some bigger fish down below. But it didn't take them long at all to get all that. So this is kind of just my mixed hodgepodge. There's some yellow blaze lithobay females, a couple Lake Victorians, dragon blood, a couple of Pachi peacocks, but they're all pretty good sized fish. And there's also a convict cichlid in here. Where is she? She's probably hiding. But that didn't last long. Let's try one more squirt, because I am getting kind of low on this, but that's okay. I fed most of the big fish already. So some of these bigger fish, they don't always get enough food if you're feeding the same thing to every tank. If you it just kind of happens. You get used to feeding small fish, you're feeding guppies and stuff, and you're doing about the same with these droppers. And then you get to bigger tanks, and they're definitely a little small, but I'll throw a few in there. I mean, look at the size of this krill. They want it. Oh. You're gonna choke. Oh, he's doing it. Good on you. That'll be a stomach full. I can say they definitely like it. So these are all guppies and everything. I'm not going to feed them. I'm not going to feed my favorites. I'm not going to feed the Tropheus. Sorry, guys. I'll give you pellets later. And I should probably turn the light on for these guys, but you know, let's just feed them in the dark. I don't want to disturb everybody. And I'll use up the rest of the krill here. I know this is a long video, so if you've actually stuck with me for this, boy, I greatly appreciate it. It's not a quality video all the way around, but maybe I will go turn the light on, because this is it's kind of lame. They didn't even see the food. Alright, let's turn the lights on here. So in this room, the way I have the lights set up is on an automatic timer. That's why sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. And then you can just reach up there and manually turn them on. And the timer will still work, you just got to flip it back. So, get another scoop of krill here. I wish I had a bigger turkey baster actually, because this stuff does plug up the turkey baster. You can't really get a big, huge scoop. And it's gone. Alright, so this tank, let's just dump some in. I'm going to move the lid here, because this is packed with blue dolphins. I don't know if this is going to work. Swoosh it around. There we go. That's a good meal. You better get one, Grammy. See, I like it for tanks like that. That was pretty easy. Let's try that again. See, I'm going to screw up though and put way too much in. These are my juvenile Apaches. Some of the males are just starting to show some color. So I've been growing these guys out for the last 6 months. That's a big helping. Hope everybody goes over to it. But yeah, that's kind of a smart thing because they're getting all the little fine pieces. Some of the males are just starting to look pretty decent though. He's going to be a pretty cool fish. He's only about 2 inches right now, so good potential. And here, I'll turn the light on with you guys. These are the ruby reds and omni ceruleus. Swirl the pitcher around. Ooh, that was a lot. Good thing there's a lot of fish in there. That is kind of a dirty feed. It definitely puts a lot of... It's probably like legs and antennae and just little pieces of krill floating through the water there. But there's no big pieces. They already got all the big pieces. Alright, it looks like my omni ceruleus is holding. She wasn't holding yesterday, so I'm going to have to mark this day. That's one fish I definitely want more fry of, unless she's got a mouthful of krill, but it sure looks like she's holding. I would love to get another batch of these babies. They seem to be very popular with people. So alright, here's to hoping. I'll you know who you are if you're already asking for more of those fish, so I will keep you posted. And these are grow-ups. They're pretty small, but we're going to dump a little bit in here. These are Christmas fulus. Quite a few fish in here, but I'll give them brine shrimp too. I'll let them tear apart some krill first. So I don't think everybody got some, but that's okay. These are my Eastern Happies. There's not a ton of fish in here. Let me bend down, dump a little bit in here. Come on, guys. They're skittish. We'll close that back up. We'll go to Hippo Point salmon. Dump a little in here. I think it's good for them. And tripped on the turkey baster. These are the Christmas Fulu adults. Hopefully they're not skittish. This girl wants to eat. A little hard to dump the pitcher now. Ooh, oh no! Oh no! I need to get a net. So that's the problem with dumping. Oh no. Alright, let's get a net. So this is where I keep all my nets. I just have kind of bicycle hooks up at in the ceiling. And I just rinse them, dry them, hang them up there, and it works really well. Sorry guys, I just polluted your tank pretty hard. That's what I get for trying to do this one-handed. And right on a spawning mop too. This is not ideal. There's a snail shell. Ugh. I'll just get as much as I can out of here, and then I'll go feed it to. I'll feed it to these guys because I'm not worried about the biosecurity between these babies and them. I'm not gonna. I'll just dump it all into with these guys, even though they're pretty small, but I think they'll clean that up. I'd like to grow them fast, so here they come. Yum num 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 num. They'll definitely work on it. These are ruby greens from Lake Victoria. And I'll go get the pitcher and we'll finish up on some of the bigger fish down here. And I guess the only reason I'm recording this is some people said they like to watch my videos all the way through and they don't care how long they are. And I know some people do, so ooh, I am feeding these guys a lot. It's a lot more difficult when you get down to the bottom of the pitcher because it's more condensed. But that's okay, they're juveniles, you know. In my experience, juveniles don't get Malawi bloat the same as, and I'm sure it can happen, but I'm just saying they don't get Malawi bloat as frequently as the adults do. So we'll give the crebensis a little here. They're going to be skittish for sure, but I want them to be healthy and get a nice meal. Oh, and I can't forget about my calvus. I just moved these guys, so I split up the group. There's 3 in this tank, hopefully 1 male and 2 females, but it might be 2 males and 1 female. There's also 3 in this tank, but I gave them all kinds of hides and caves because I just want to get a batch of babies from them. Excuse me. So I'm going to use the turkey baster because there's only 3 fish in each, and they're skittish anyways because I just moved them not too long ago. And that's probably enough for both of them. Probably shouldn't be doing. Ooh, that little girl just got one. Good for her. And this is a perfect food for a fish like a calvus who is a ambush predator. That was the main reason I wanted this krill to begin with, but with them being skittish and me having the camera out just adds to it. I'm gonna just shoot a few in there. I don't expect him to come out and eat it right away, but he sees it. He's gonna snarf that one. They don't seem any worse for the wear for me moving them, so I am happy about that. Just my opinion, a really cool looking fish. So I was dumping all this krill. I'm gonna have to get a little bit. No, I should be able to do it without water. Who else gets some? You? I don't know if I should give you any. You're kind of a jerk. He's getting reintroduced to his females here soon. I'm gonna definitely give his females a little bit. Save some for the other one. There we go. She got beat up really bad. She had no tail left. She still looks skinny. She just got a lot of krill though, so that should help. But I just moved him away from the male a week ago. He was being really mean to him. So let's feed these guys. Lake Victorians. They don't probably deserve much. Too expensive for them. But I don't know what kind of Victorians they are, so that's why I'm just trying to move them. I don't even have them posted online because they'll make a good show tank for somebody around here, but they're not worth the effort to sell them online. Wow, can't believe they didn't eat them all already. No, they did. And that just about does. Oh, a couple more tanks here. These guys are starting to look really good, and they're breeding a little bit. These are the zebra obliquidens. The two males in here are looking really nice. I love it when they get that blue on their lips. You don't see that all the time. So, looking good. We'll give them some krill here. They'll clean it up. And then one more tank over here. Sorry about the swinging. It's hard to run a camera and do this. And this is kind of just a hodgepodge tank as well. There's a few Mabuna in here, but they're the same thing. They're those Interruptus. And I've never had problems with bloat with them. So I don't feed them anything too special. They pretty much get the same protein flake and everything. There's also some peacocks and some Victorians in here. And yeah, hey, that just about does it. You got to see, hopefully you got to see some fish you don't normally see because I'm feeding, and maybe they came out and showed themselves a little bit more today. But really appreciate it. Would greatly appreciate it if you stuck around to the end of this video. All the likes and subscribes mean a lot. And until next time, hope you learned something. Talk to you later. Bye.